Hello, good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Dear Ahmed, dear students, is for in this video, it's with the introduction to Charles Dickens' Hard Times. Which Charles Dickens belonged to Victorian period. Is for what he has written, which so much novels is for Hard Times is one of his novels. So in this lesson, this which I will give an introduction to his novel Hard Times. Is for this novel is Dickens one of least known and least respected novels. So in this lesson, this is for I will discuss these points. Is for the first publication of this very novel. Or times. The second one is from his own personal experiences, what he wrote. This is for the material, the text of this very novel from his own personal experiences. The third one, what Hard Times is about, and the last one, why Hard Times. So just let us start with this. For it is a general introduction to this very novel, Hard Times. Basically, this very novel has been published in 1854. This novel was published in 1854 and is for in his a new periodical, weekly periodical, Household Words. Household Words. This was a new periodical in 1850. 1850, a new periodical, Household Words. The very name of this very name of weekly periodical, Household Words. So it was this was started in 1850 by Charles Dickens, and this was published in 1854 as a weekly serial. So as for this novel is 1854 Hard Times. And now what is for the second one from his own personal experiences. Is for this novel has been written from his own personal experiences. What are his personal experiences? Is what I is for the first one. The first is real experiences in own life is the realities of life in London. Is for the realities of life in London were to be more harsher. And Dickens was soon to learn the meaning of hard times. As for Charles Dickens was living in London, and the life of the London was much harsher, and what he was very soon to realize, to learn the meaning of hard times. As for what the reason is, his father fell even more seriously into debt, and what he was sent to debt prison. And as for now, what was the situation? Charles Dickens heartbroken by this. Then what Dickens then had to suffer. This was the agony of being sent to work in a factory where blacking was made for shoes. This was a place overrun with raids of rotten flowers and dirt and decay. So this was his first real experience, a harsh one, a bitter one. As far his father was sent to a death prison, and then what he has to work in a factory, in a blacking factory, where this what he has been experienced, of his life, something very bitter, what is something very unhappy, and this what he never forget. This what the loneliness and the bitterness of all those unhappy days, and this what is for this what his experiences then are relived in the life of all the lonely, unhappy, and abused children who are found in his knowledge. As far as a child, what he had been experienced. He experienced something very bitter, what he had experienced something very unhappy, or something very lonely, and this is what we find in his novels. All those childs, what Charles Dickens depicted in his novels, what all those childs are, what all those children are. As for lonely children, unhappy children, and basically afterwards, but outwardly a successful and settled and happy person Charles Dickens was, but what he described, he was to describe that time in Blacking Factory as one of which he never could lose the remembrance while he remembered anything. So therefore, the remembrance of all those unhappy life, which never lose, and what he just forever what he remember all those unhappy life and happy moments and unhappy is what the time what he had been experienced, and later on what he was successful is for settled and happy, but whatever he just remembered all those experiences haunted him and made him miserable even to that hour, and from such experiences undoubtedly this what grieve that pity for the oppressed, and especially those who work in factories. This is what we find so powerfully expressed in hard times. So as far as what he feels for oppressed, for weak, for suppressed people, and what we do find all this powerfully depicted, expressed in the hard times. So this is what the first experience of his own, and what we do find in the text of hard times, his own personal experience as a child, and this is what we do find. Again, this is what his second experience is when he became a parliamentary reporter for a newspaper. When he became a parliamentary reporter for a newspaper, so once again, he was pursued as a future novelist in being placed in a position in which he was closely concerned with important matters of the time and was brought into contact with a wide variety of people. His reporting of such debates as those on the Poor Law Bill provided him with a deep understanding of the suffering of the poor, of whom he had been oneself, and it gave him contempt for the inefficiency and inhumanity of bureaucracy and for a parliament which he was to describe later in our times as a dust-heap people by deaf honorable gentlemen, dumb honorable gentlemen, blind honorable gentlemen, lame honorable gentlemen, dead honorable gentlemen. So as far what he has been experiencing as a parliamentary reporter, what he has been experienced, what he was in close contact with a variety of people, especially with all those people in authority, but those people what they were bureaucrats, what they were in parliament, and what he absorbed, what he closely saw those people, and what he just then mentioned, what he depicted all those people in our time as far as what deaf honorable gentlemen and dumb honorable gentlemen and all those blind honorable gentlemen. So as far what his personal experiences have been as a child and then as a parliamentary reporter, and what we do find in hard times. So this is what as far this is the personal experiences of Charles Dickens. Now what I come to is for what hard time is about. What hard times is about. As for basically this novel is, as far I told you, published as a weekly serial in a biological household words. So basically Dickens seems to have first thought of writing a novel about education and the industrial condition of England during the later part of 1853. But as for and then what have begun to write it in January 1854. This sort of context is, the background is for what the text, the material has been has been taken for hard time is for at that time the cotton workers of Preston. Preston is what is for the city of England, Preston. So this very city is for this very city. At that time, the cotton workers of Preston were on strike. And although immensely busy with his responsibilities, as for Charles Dickens was so much busy, as for so much his responsibilities were. But what he traveled there to Preston, to this very city, to find material for his new book. And there was very little of the strike to see, but what he came with an impression, what he just came with from this very town, from this very city, is for something but very ugly. And what it is no difficulty for him in conceiving this fictitious town or city of what Cork Town. Cork Town. So this what the city is. Cork Town in all times, a fictitious town, a city. This what a mill town. This what an industrial town. This what it is for the Bristol was in England. Is for it is what the original city is, and what in the text of the all time is fictitious. What the city, the town, mill town, Cork Town. So if for this what it is, the material is, the text is what is taken is for. Now, as for Charles Dickens was sent to his friend 14 possible titles for the book, and this was what his friend selected 3 of them is for the first one was this was Hard Time, the second one was is for Bruit, and the third one is for Symbol and Thematic. And this was finally Hard Times was is for selected Hard Times. So now this is for what the Hard Times is about. Now I come to this which go ahead with is for Hard Times is first published in 1854. And what it is about? What it is about is what just if I would like to is for this very novel is for bring out of Charles Dickens' passionate concern for the weak and exploited. Is for what is love, what is concern for the oppressed, for the weak people, for the suppressed people, what those people working in factories, in mills, it is what all about. So, is for the mid-19th century manufacturing town of Cork Town. This was the mid-19th century manufacturing town of Cork Town is for all those people but working with hands, but they are working in the mills, in the factories, this what manufacturing factories are there. What those people are, weak people, exploited people, what they are suppressed, and what they are deprived of their basic, fundamental, this what is for necessities, and is for factory life. Factory life was harsh life, and was monotonous life of very factory life. Now again, this what is for what Charles Dickens this what is for show, this what is for the greed, the materialism of of all those people, but they are mill owners, but they are factory owners. So as for their greed, their materialism, also what he targets, Charles Dickens targets, what satirizes this which is for the utilitarian philosophy, what more concerned with facts and statistics, this rather than with the human beings and their feelings or their concerns. So what we do find in our time is for what it is about. This what is about factories, about mills, about all those people working there, and what they are weak people, exploited people, suppressed people, and what the real concern of Charles Dickens is to bring to the light all those what the harsh life of all those people, what how they are living this what as far what are the behavior, the attitude of all those owners, and what they do feel, and this what is for it is all about a criticism, a satire on this what on 19th century utilitarian philosophy as far by this what Bentham, as far what expounded by Bentham, Jeremy Bentham, and what he expounded as far what this philosophy is about facts, about statistics, rather than what they don't believe in, what something fancy, imagination, and what it is something but feelings, what they just lead to, as far to the real concern of human beings are this out to the main point. So now this what is for what our time is about. This what just a few words with you people that what it is. Now is for why hard time, why hard times, why we should this what is for if we ask ourselves that why it is this what that more than 100 years after it was this what written and this what it is still rich and so much admired. So what it is there? What is something important? And what is what why we should read hard times? So just like what it is, Charles Dickens is the social reformer. Is the social reformers. but more than what it is a social reformer, a critic, but more than what it is, he is this much an entertainer, a superb storyteller, and what it is, this what all his stories about people, about their concern, about their issues, about their problems, and this is what we do find in the work of great writers. What the great writers do is forward to raise this what the questions, the problem, the issues of the common people, and what's all about, this what the novel is all about. It may be Shakespeare, it may be Wordsworth, it may be Charles Dickens. The period, this what is for period is different. Is for Shakespeare, Wordsworth, and then what to Charles Dickens. This what the words are different, the periods are different, but no matter, no matter what it is, something the common is. The common is what something common is, and what it is for this what the common thing is what they have this what compassion. What they just present in their writings, compassion. What this compassion is for this what something which love for humanity, for mankind, what the concern for the people, for the common people. And Charles Dickens is this what specifically what he is aware of the wrongs of the world, and what his heart goes out to those who suffer, and this what is for what we do find in hard times, that what he love humanity, what he love mankind, what he is concerned for common people, and this is what it gives us hard times, the seriousness of purpose, and the concern for human welfare, and that is what an essential part of his greatness. So as for Thomas Hardy, what he just wrote was, "What are my books but one long plea against man's inhumanity to man's?" And this what as for Dickens might easily have asked the same question about hard times. So this what the story is. Story is what about all those exploited, all those oppressed, weak people, what they are working in factories, in mills, and what she depicts is what a real description of this what the harsh life of the London, and this what is for this what it is. So my dear student, in this lesson, what I just try my best to give you the introduction to Charles Dickens' Hard Times. Thank you very much.